anybody's looked, but you know that this is on the portal. If you happen to look and you want me to talk you to sleep one night, you need something boring to watch, and whatever. Or if it's helpful to you, these the entire chapter 8 will be in probably 8 pieces, YouTubes. Okay. So, and if you understood the first day and you want to just go to the, you can follow the chapter and see about where we would be. I didn't name it. I just said part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and today's it'll be part 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So, brief exercise 3. I'm on page 588. And remember this was, they were both airplanes, but in brief exercise, short exercise 3, Alaska Freight Airlines had an airplane, $43 million cost, and it has a residual of 7. So how much depreciation do we want over these, 5 years? 36,000. That's our depreciable base, right? All we want is to depreciate $36 million over 5 years. So far, so good. And so in this one, it is not. Remember that the other two started with $43 million. That too is fine. Started with $43 million minus $7 million. But we're not doing that now. It's the $43 million in year 1. 0. Divided by useful life times 2. It's going to be a huge number. Huge. Okay, and that gives me, I don't know, I'm going to there. 17.2 million. Oh, that's a lot. And so, so year 1, 17.2 million. So far, so good. They do not ask you for year 2, but let's do it, okay? So in year 2, and I would, I'd have this side computation going that told me that now I've got year 1 in there. Because when I get to 36 million, I'm done. In year 2, I replace that number with 17.2 million. This is for year 2. And I'm going to need you to help me with this because they don't give me the answers. Somebody do the math, please. It's really good to practice because then you know what you do. Chris, you get a number? 10.32. Okay. Am I up to 36 million yet? No, I'm at 27.52. And so in year 3, that goes to 27.52. You following? Everybody okay with this? And would you do that again, please?
You added those two, correct?
I did. Because it is a contra asset. Assets are permanent accounts. Whatever you have at the end of one year, same at the beginning of the next. Am I right? 27.52. And so this will be somewhere around 6, 7. 6.2?
1 million.
Thank you. Okay, now am I up to 36 million yet? 27 and 6 is 33. So no, right? So what have I got left? 27, 33.71. Probably at this point, I would do a switch to the straight line because I've only got like 2.29 million left to go. Kayla?
For the little chart over here, you just keep a running tab.
Accumulated depreciation is a contra asset, so assets grow and grow and grow. And it's going to get to 36 million and it's going to stop until we sell the airplane. She's going to stay on the books until we sell the airplane or crash it. Did you see on Fox News that it looks like that German plane that the co-pilot wanted to crash the plane?
Was that in the mountains or something?
It was in the Swiss Alps, I believe.
Yeah.
It was was in the Alps, whether it's German Alps or
Yeah,
Swiss.
French Alps.
French Alps, it was in the Alps, I know that. And it looks like, I'm wondering, you know, maybe he's seen enough James Bond movies that he had one of those, you know, EpiPen kind of things and put the pilot out.
Because they said the pilot was like unconscious.
Yeah.
Plane had crashed.
So it sounds to me like he followed James Bond, you know, and it is scary. Because you always think, well, there's always at least two up there, you know, in the pointy end, and they want to get home just as safely as you do. That's the way I've always figured it. In that pointy end, you know, they're going down first. And so I've always felt like it's pretty safe when you have two of them up there, right?
I was watching the news this morning. They put out a press conference. They looked at the tape and they heard the conversation that was going on. Apparently, the co-pilot locked the cabin door and the pilot couldn't get in, and he left. So it was deliberate, apparently.
So he waited till the
Pilot.
left, because they do that, you know, they
Yeah,
go to the bathroom.
Yeah. They did say that the door has a lock from the inside and the outside, so the pilot could have punched in a combination number to open the door, but he, I don't know.
Why he didn't?
That was my question.
Either that or he took it down before he tried.
It was.
But you said they thought he was unconscious at the time?
They thought he was unconscious at the time because
I think they did. I think it was James Bond.
that's what I read. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah. Well,
It's kind of weird.
it is scary,
Yeah.
especially since I'm flying to Rome in 2 months.
You'll be fine.
I know. And I will update my will before I leave again, so that my babies are well taken care of. But anyway, it was kind of creepy though, wasn't it?
Oh, it is very weird.
Yeah. It's a different world. Okay. So anyway, sorry, you needed a little brain breath, so you got one. Just me.
I have a question, like how do you determine when you should go to straight line 2 years before or 1 year before?
When you look at the remaining depreciable base and divide it by the remaining years, and if it's bigger,
Okay,
then you take that
okay.
in a year, okay? And this might have been the year to do it, I don't know. But in this case, I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, I can go ahead and I can do this, and when I do this, what number do I get?
3.716.
3.716. All right, so that's gonna put me over the 36, right?
Okay.
And so I'm just gonna do the rest. I'm gonna have 0 for year 5 if I do it the book way. And I'm gonna have, what do I need to make this 36 million? What do I need? 36 minus these 3 numbers. It's gonna be 2.29, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I would do if I did it the book way. I would do 2.29 and have nothing in the last year. That's quite a sharp slope of a graph line, right? Way up here at 17, down to 2, and then nothing. But this is a systematic and rational way of doing this. Kayla has a question.
So when you get to year 4, and then you see that it obviously goes over the 36, then you would just go back.
Mhm.
And
You want to
just
stop.
fill it in.
You want to stop, and that's why we're keeping a running total. We want to stop when we get to 36. That's our goal. Our goal is to take 43 minus 7, or 36, and put it into 5 years in a rational way. Okay?
So does it matter for the last 2 years if we just do 2.290 or 0, or like if we
That's
even
the
it out?
method.
It doesn't matter if we average it either? Okay.
No? So what we could do is probably, this would be the year that you would you tell me please, what is 43 minus 27.52? 43 minus 27.52.
15.4.
Okay. When you divide that by year 3, 4, 5, by 3 years, what do you get?
1.16.
5.16. So I could have either done it this way, or I could have done it this way. 17.2, 10.32, 5.16, 5.16, 5.16. Either way gives me 36 million in 5 years. I can do it purely by this, or I can do it that way. And remember the one in the book? It had such a small salvage value relative to its cost that in year 5 it was more than year 4. Well, this one has such a huge salvage value relative to the cost that in year 5 there's nothing. So it can go either way if you do it purely by the formula. Mathematically, are we okay? Okay. So you're going to stop. So really, what you do is you solve it, you get a number, and then you ask yourself, if I put that number in, will it get me to the depreciable base? Am I done? Okay. Will I be finished depreciating? If the answer is no, then you can go ahead and use that number. But if the answer is yes, if it's past it, then you got to adjust it. So you wouldn't say that we ignore salvage value. It's just not part of the formula. But it is part of the overall decision in computing depreciation expense. Does that make sense? We don't ignore it, but we just don't. You put it in a formula. Cool, huh? Most companies use this, or a straight line. Yes, Kat?
Which one are you gonna be tested on? Like,
The book way.
okay.
So this way. This is more real life. It's called switch to straight line. When it's greater, or when it, the lesser of. Okay. So, but yeah, leave that way. Unless it says switch to straight line, I think any of your problems do. I don't think so. Has anybody done that homework yet?
I started it, I stopped when we got to this,
To
but
this one.
I'm pretty sure it's just by the book and not
Okay.
switching.
Okay, I think they're doing it just like that, which is fine. This is a way. Okay, so let's talk about this airplane a little bit. Okay, it cost them $43 million. They financed it some way, maybe with cash, maybe with a down payment, and then a note payable. No matter how they financed it, they're going to depreciate $36 million, yes? And that depreciation, what's the journal entry? Debit depreciation expense, credit, accumulated depreciation. There's no cash. This is a non-cash expense. For tax purposes, wouldn't you want that to be as big as you could have? Wouldn't you? You would want to have as big an expense, put as much into the first year's tax return as you could, right? To take advantage of a bigger expense and pay less tax. So a lot of times for tax purposes, we use declining balance because it allows us the biggest expense right up front. That's when they use declining balance. Also, and your book does, I believe in the appendix, talk about makers. And it is based upon, maybe not. Does it even identify makers? I don't remember. But makers, modified accelerated cost recovery system, is your income tax method that must be used. And its basis is the double declining balance. It is not a GAAP method, and I will not test you on makers method. Those of you that are accounting majors will have to learn it, okay, for your tax class and for my intermediate 2 class, the financial 2 class. Because it's not GAAP. Because what is the objective here is to put $36 million into 5 useful years, right? Well, with makers, it does the same computation, except they don't use useful life. They use class life. And for an airplane, that would be 7 years. Whether you're planning to use it 5 or 10 or 7, you must use 7 for tax purposes. So it doesn't achieve the GAAP goal of putting it into the useful lives. You see? Because you'd be putting in 7 even though you want to do it in 5. The other thing that they do weird is they do a half-year convention so that you do the first year, you take, no matter when you put it into service, you would do a half a year. So for a 5-year asset, you'd potentially have 6 years. A half and a half at the end. Well, that's not logical, because if you put it in January 1st, you should put a whole year in there, right? Instead of a partial year. So for those two reasons, it is not a GAAP method. It's not acceptable for financial reporting. It is only acceptable for income tax purposes on the income tax return. Because the corporation does an income tax return just like you do in a 1040, they do an 1120. Okay? And one of their schedules is depreciation, but they have to use a different method than we would use for the income statement. So, also in Financial 2, which is the 4th semester, we talk about what do you do when you're doing this one for financial and that one for tax purposes. There's a whole chapter on that. So it's a big deal. A whole chapter out of 12 or 13 is a lot. Okay, we're in 12 course. Big, huge paragraph. Okay? So we're not going to go over that in this class either. You're not responsible for it. Okay? But those of you who do go on, you'll be ready for it when you get there. So that is declining balance. Let me let you in pairs. The first person that can tell me year 2 declining balance on exercise 4 gets candy. I'm going to get candy right now. So short exercise 4, give me a number for year 2.
Which method is that?
I'll just try to
Or what method you're doing? I guess I'm